Three Grots in a Vox is intended for a mature audience. This means there will be crude language and discussions of adult themes, especially if we're talking about tactical marines or Gabriel's Seth. Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged. All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes.
There we go.
Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
And we're live. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I think we're live.
We might be.
Some beautiful person from the chat, tell us we're live.
Yeah, I think I can see it.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. Yeah, we've seen 4 people have tuned in. Hello, good evening. 4 people, how are you? What are you playing today, Tony?
Well, because I keep on hesitating on it and I still haven't got around to it, I'm actually going to try and get a chunk of these skeletons painted. So, yeah, normally I'll focus on one thing and try and do it really well or whatever on stream. Well, I've got how many? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I've got about 30 skeletons here.
Oh, cool. So you're going to do 30 on stream, are you?
I'm going to try and see how far I can get. I've only got a couple of colours in front of me, but I'm going to just sort of like blitz my way through how far I can get from the black undercoat.
Very nice.
If I can get the so really all I'm going to try and do is I'm going to get the zenithal done, and then once I've got some sort of like volumes painted on there, I'm going to start doing the bone, because I'm pretty happy with the bone recipe that we worked out. I worked out the other night on the stream, so I'm going to now try and put that across all 30 of these.
Cool. Good evening, Eternal Crusader. Good evening, Ardeen, Ryan. Ryan's here to tell us how good Seth is. If you didn't know, Tony, Seth's pretty good. Eternal Crusader's here as well. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Araden's new Lord of the Rings Lego set. I did see that. That looked awesome.
The Barad-dûr one. The basically the Tower of Sauron, is it? Is it not called Barad-dûr, or am I being an idiot?
I think it is, yeah. I'm not the world's most knowledgeable Lord of the Rings fan. I have read the book, and I like the movies, but...
Yeah, I read the books like 25 years ago at this point. Yeah, that Lord of the Rings set is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I am continuing on painting Outriders, because they keep doing well for me. I won again last night, yes. I think I'm going to take the Outriders to the GT. I think it's...
Really?
Yeah, I think it's decided. I think that they are just a nuisance, and people always have to try and kill them, and they just run around. I basically play them as scouts. So, scouts
they're
on
very
bike.
cheap, aren't they?
Yeah, like 26, 27 points a model or something like this. Excuse me.
So they're cheap, they're hardy. They don't do a lot of damage, but in Sons of Sanguinius, they hit relatively hard.
Yeah, I mean, strength 6 on the charge is not too bad. Do you know what I found is scouts with combat knives actually kill quite a lot in Sons of Sanguinius.
Really?
Yeah, because you get like, if every scout has a combat knife, bar 1, because you want one with a shotgun, you get like, I think you get 15 attacks, but strength 6, no AP, and then you get 5 attacks with a chainsword. So you're getting 20 strength 6 attacks from the scouts. Yeah, there's no AP, but like typically the things that the scouts are going after don't always have good armor saves. Like I'm running them into like orc boys or something. Well, they don't have good armor save. I'm running them into aspect warriors. Well, they don't have a good armor save. And the thing about running them into aspect warriors is aspect warriors are typically toughness 3, so your scouts are wounding on 2s, which actually makes them kind of somewhat decent. Like a squad of scouts will pick up a whole squad of aspect warriors pretty reliably, it feels like, if you've got the combat knives on them. So I'm a big fan of scouts with combat knives at the moment. But yeah, I had a fun game.
Honestly, I haven't really tried them out. I have run some scouts this edition, but I've mostly been running them with shotguns.
Yeah, I ran them with, the one sniper, one rifle, one rocket launcher, and it never did anything for me. And when I changed it
and that's kind of what I found as well.
when I changed to combat knives, I've been feeling way better about them.
All right.
So yeah, I guess I'm kind of set on my list for the GT. It's going to include 10 Sanguinary Guard and Dante. It's going to include 2 squads Outriders. So if nothing else, it will be unique.
Well, that's pretty exciting then, because it's not like anything that you've been running this edition till more recently, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's nice seeing Outriders and Dante and that in a list.
No one's been running that, to be fair. I don't know if anyone else is running it. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take them to the Blood Angels Commander GT. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully.
The only problem you've got with that, and this is a genuine problem, is you can't win it.
Well, because it's my own tournament.
Yeah. Can't win your own tournament.
I mean, there'll be better players than me at it. So if I win it, then I've done well, I think.
Well, you will have done, and everyone will know that you've done well, except for the people that are like, oh, well, you rigged it. It's like if you run a competition, you can't enter your own competition.
I mean, I'm doing it with the plastic crackheads, so...
Doesn't matter. You still can't do it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, John. You're not allowed to win.
Okay.
You're like banned from winning. If it looks like you're going to win, you're going to have to throw the game.
After all these times that I've tried to win a GT and failed horrifically,
you've got to try and lose it.
If I'm actually going to be there with a chance of winning it, you're telling me I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, absolutely. You're banned.
Okay.
You mustn't win your own tournament because it's just bad. It's just not sports thing, is it? All these people have travelled all these miles to play at this tournament, and then well, yeah, I'm hosting it and I'm winning it.
You say it like it's formality. If I win it, there's going to be a degree of luck there because I keep not doing all that well at tournaments. Aradine thinks I'm going to win it. Look at that. Just put a little medal in the chat.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll win it as well, but only that'll be a mistake, and you can't afford to do so.
Okay.
So that's what's going to be amusing about it. So the first time you nearly win a GT, you're not allowed to win the GT.
I tell you, if I'm playing Gav at the final table after all the fucking near victories,
Gav, then that's a different thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing Gav on the final table, and you guys will give me shit for winning my own tournament, I don't care.
Is Andrew playing or not?
Andrew's coming, Colin's coming, Brett's coming, Miles is coming, Gav is coming, and then Garen, who's been on the channel as well, who beat me on the channel and beat me at an RTT at the top table to win the event.
So you're allowed to beat any of the plastic crackheads.
Okay. I'm allowed to beat Garen as well, surely, because he already beat me at the top table of a tournament, so I need revenge for that.
Well, only if you fight him in an early round. It's the final, you've got to lose again. And you've got to be gracious while you do it as well.
Oh, no way. I've never beat him either. That's not happening. I'm going to be gracious with Garen. Marius knows Garen. He's a really good player. I actually asked him yesterday what he's playing. So he's playing Bully Boy Orcs. God damn it, they are.
Bully Boy Orcs at the moment are the probably the big bad if there is one.
I think there's going to be a balance data slate like the week before our event, and I don't know if our event's going to use it. That's going to be really awkward.
I think if it's a week before, I don't think you can.
Well, exactly, and so I think the balance slate is going to nerf the Mega Knobs, but the Mega Knobs are going to win our event because they're so powerful right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the chapter approved book is coming out the week before our event as well, which is really, or it's not a book anymore, is it? It's new cards.
You've got to let people have time to adjust their lists and all this sort of thing. And by sort of a week before, they'll have locked them down, won't you?
Yeah, the week before, I won't have any time to practice either, and people would make mistakes, right? If you're playing a new mission for the first time at a tournament, then shit will just go wrong, I guess.
So yeah, I think you're going to have to run it with the pre-balanced data slate and the old missions.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I'm actually pretty happy with my current army. Like, I'd like to play the tournament with my current army. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem with is Mega Knobs.
Well, the orcs really are very powerful at the moment.
Yeah. You can win any GT except your own.
Who really plays orcs isn't very good with them.
There will always be some prick that shouts foul play at your own GT. Well, I mean, I'm going to possibly stream the final game. I was going to take a laptop over. So if I do whoever's in if one of the plastic crackheads is in the final, I'm gonna have the final game on camera. So.
Oh yeah, definitely you should.
So can people still say it's foul play if I win it if the game's streamed? Like if they can watch
definitely, because you would have rigged who you're playing against, or
what through BCP? BCP does all that shit. You can't choose any of that stuff.
Someone will still cry it.
Okay, you reckon the Green Tide is going to be becoming more popular than the Bully Boys after the new deck? I don't think the Bully Boys are going to get to keep their 4-up feel no pain for 2 turns. It's too damn strong, man. 3 wound models with a 2-up save and a 4-up feel no pain, and they can also have a force field generator guy in there as well. It gives them a 4-up.
Yeah,
4-up is just too strong. Like, it's just far too much damage reduction,
it's just obnoxious to play against.
Yeah, especially on a 3 wound model. It's just too strong.
It's worse than the Custodes were when they had sort of like 4-up, because they only ever really had a 4-up invuln and a couple of strats. They never had something as mental as the feel no pain like that.
Yeah,
I've never seen an army as tough as that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I beat them last night, but holy grots, was that a tough game. And it literally came down to like a final dice roll in the final turn, and so the game I could have still lost the game, right? Like, I never felt confident once in the whole game, and yeah, it's just.
I mean, I don't mind that you want that in a game. You want to get it so that it's so close it comes down to the final. I don't mean from you want to win, but from a viewing point of view, from an excitement point of view, you never want someone to be able to run away with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Not a bad thing, but I can understand in a GT or something, you don't want that. You just want to run away with it.
Yeah, I just think that if you're running... Brett was running 14 Mega Knobs. It's completely madness how many they can have, actually, of those, and how they're cheaper than Sanguinary Guard as well, because you have to throw so much into them to kill them. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But okay. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, I'm going to try and get to the top table.
Yeah, of course. But you've got to go to the top table, then lose graciously.
Okay. You'll need to come to the tournament one year.
I will do.
Yeah.
Well, my little boy's a bit bigger, and if you put one on a bloody school holiday so I can actually come,
yes,
then I will fly up to Scotland and I'll come and play in your tournament.
The problem is we put it on the Scottish school holidays, but I forgot they're different from the English school holidays. But that's fine. We'll sort that out. Apparently, Scotland goes on holiday earlier. That's why apparently they did this election. You know that, right?
No.
Apparently, the leader of the I don't know, the campaign leader of the Labour Party is Scottish, so he'd booked a holiday, and the Conservatives found out that he'd booked a holiday, so that they called the election.
So they called it then just to screw with him.
Yeah, because he was going away like the first week of the Scottish school holidays.
You've got to give him props for like underhand play, haven't you?
You do.
When there's somebody sitting there going, right, we're going to call a general election then. Why? Because that guy's on holiday and it'll really mess with him. That's a level of petty that I really do appreciate.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to lose, so they're just getting,
I don't know.
Being right dicks with it.
Are there trains up in my area? You make it sound like I live in like literally the middle of nowhere.
You live in the middle of bloody nowhere.
But there are trains. It's not completely inaccessible.
How long did you tell me it took you to get to the nearest hospital?
The nearest maternity ward's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's a hospital closer than that. It just doesn't deal with maternity.
You live in the middle of nowhere, John.
Yeah. But no, there's trains that run like 5 times a day, and there's Phil from the Blood Angels Commander channel is he's flying all the way from Chicago for a GT. So like,
is he really?
Yeah. because he messaged me and he said, like, he was asking questions, and I was like, Phil, where are you coming from? He's like, I'm coming from Chicago. And I was like, Phil, there's literally more people in like, I think the population of Chicago is like 800,000. I was like, the population of the north of Scotland is not even 800,000, right? Like, there's our whole country, Phil. And he was like, yeah, I was like, I'm just making sure you understand what you're getting in for, right?
It just shows how loyal a fan base you've actually got.
Yeah, I mean, know, it's
you know,
pretty
I love
crazy,
you, John, but I'm
it?
not that loyal.
You're not.
I wouldn't
no.
fly around the world to come and see you.
Were you at the Games Expo this week then?
Sorry?
Were you at the Games Expo or were you at something else? I saw you with a giant 3D printer.
Oh, yeah. No, I was at... in all honesty, I didn't mean to post that. But I was trying to post it on Instagram, and Instagram now does this funny thing where it posts on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay.
Because I never use Instagram for anything.
No.
I might post the odd model I'm working on or something. But I was at, it's called TCT 360, and it was an additive manufacturing expo.
Okay.
And I took some students down there. It was a good expo. But what was ironic was over the other side of the convention centre. So this was at the NEC, which is ginormous.
Yeah, I've been there once.
In one of the other halls, they had another manufacturing expo, which was basically the same thing, but with other types of manufacturing as well. It was about twice as big. So I was in the crap one on the other side of the centre, while a much better one was going on opposite it.
Wow. Which
was a bit awkward. But I took a load of year 12 students. So they were sort of 17-year-old, 16, 17, down to see this. And yeah, so there was a company down there doing these really ginormous 3D prints, bigger than I've ever seen before. And that was their business. They had a big 5-axis robot, and they've got basically a 3D printer nozzle on the end of it. And they were running a competition, whereas if you posted a selfie, you could win a 3D printer, and nobody was doing it because I looked on there and there's only about 50 people had done it.
Okay.
And thousands of people attend this, and I even spoke to my students, and I was like, "Have any of you done that?" They're like, "No, we couldn't figure out how to do it." So I was like, "Well, look, I'll tell you what, I'll enter it, and if I win the 3D printer, I'll put it in your classroom."
Very cool. I take it you didn't win the 3D printer.
I don't know. I'll find out after the weekend.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I'm fairly unlikely to win a 3D. I've never won anything in my life. But I said, if I do win, then I'll put it in the classroom and let them play with it.
I saw in America now they apparently can 3D print houses.
They were doing what?
3D printing an entire house now.
Oh, yeah, with the concrete 3D printers.
Yeah.
They're cool, aren't they?
Hello, Highland Phoenix. Highland Phoenix thinks that I should win with the GT.
No, Highland Phoenix thinks that Blood Angels are going to win the GT. He doesn't think that you should win your own GT.
I mean, everyone's got the same chance.
I know everyone's got the same... Well, no, that's not true, is it? Not everyone's got the same chance. There'll be someone there that turns up with, I don't know, squats or custodes or something, and they've got no chance.
Okay.
But by the same token, you can't win your own GT.
I've been trying to get my list good for going to this GT for like 3 months, and now you're telling me like
you can't win it. No,
no,
you can still use it at other GTs, but your own one, you've got to lose. You've got to lose. You've got to lose graciously. That's the important thing. Graciously, none of your Scottish temper coming out. You're not allowed to drop any F-bombs.
I was going to say, hopefully I play Necrons early in the day and then we just get that over, get the disappointment out of the way.
What do you reckon's worse at the moment, Necrons or Orcs?
No, that's a tough question. I think Orcs because again, 4-up save with 4-up feel no pain is just so damn swingy. You can't math against it because, like, you know, like sometimes. So if you have 2 power fist hits against a bully boy or whatever they call them, mega knobs, so you think they have to fail 2 on a 4-up to kill one guy. So, like, you really need to hit them 4 times to kill one guy. So they did get 4 Power Fist fail saves against them to kill one guy. But then sometimes it just swings, like, it could take 8 Power Fists to kill one guy. Because they feel no pain, a bunch of It's so...
It's not quite the same, but it's one of the reasons everyone used to hate playing against Custodes, because you've got that whole thing of, if your opponent's just rolling a bit hot and just keeps rolling 4-ups, there's bugger all you can do about it.
Yeah.
And that takes the fun out of playing.
Hello, Crispy Delicious. How you doing tonight? Zach says several pilot programs printing houses. There's also a university that's printing a full-size boat. Wow.
There's some pretty impressive stuff being done as an industry. So one of the things that I teach is engineering. And I teach units on additive manufacturing and kind of future engineering products. So we look at a lot at iterative design, automated, so using like machine learning and things, where it basically designs it for you. And you get these kind of weird organic shapes, but super efficient.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting space at the moment. So as a school, we've just got some grant money to start offering some new courses.
Okay.
And part of that is so that we can start really investigating these new technologies. Because it won't be long before a lot of the old ways of doing things will be redundant, you know? So we've got to produce students that can live in this modern world and can adapt to these new things.
I was going to say, before AI takes over all the jobs, huh?
Before AI takes over all the jobs. So we've got to make sure that things that they can do are things that AI can't do.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough challenge for the future, actually.
Yeah, definitely. You know, one of the other things that I do is I train other teachers. And part of that, I was talking the other day, it's not going to be long before your subject knowledge becomes irrelevant. You know, you could be the best, most knowledgeable physicist or chemist or whatever in the world, but it becomes irrelevant when you can just tap into Google 2.0 question and it immediately knows the answer.
Yeah, I suppose that's pretty true.
So
yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're the cleverest man in the room anymore, or it certainly won't very soon. But what AI can't do is innovate, but also it can't kind of adapt its teaching. So when a really good teacher will adapt to how they talk to their audience effectively. So if someone doesn't understand it, they'll go at it a different way, and they'll keep coming up with new ways of explaining it, and new ways of kind of running activities in the room and the rest of it, until everybody in the room understands what they're doing, or as close as you can get to it. I know it's a bit idealized. And AI can't do that. It might be able to tell you what the answer to the question is, but it can't adapt on the fly to its audience.
Mario says he doesn't have much confidence in your students if they couldn't work out how to post selfies.
Well, there is that, but what it was genuinely there was some sort of like bench or big 3D printed thing that you had to sit on and take a selfie. And apparently there was like a group of businessmen, because it really was a business conference. There's loads of people wearing suits and that, who were just sitting on this bench making phone calls. None of them could get on the bench, and they're all a bit like scared to go and ask for someone to like get off the bench so I can take a selfie. But none of them noticed on the other side of the convention hall there was a second bench.
Well,
so they all stood there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, till they all got bored and left, without really noticing that there was another bench on the other side of the building.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah. I did find it quite funny. But it was a good thing. So some of the stuff we saw, people are making sort of microscopic 3D prints and stuff like that now. Used in the medical field.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the application?
There was a medical conference next door as well, which was interesting to go and look at. But you know the weirdest, most interesting thing I saw all day?
Tell me.
One of the stands exhibiting, this is a 3D printing conference, I'd like to add, was HelloFresh.
And what the hell are they 3D printing?
It gets more. Next door was a medical conference about like prosthetics and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of this was a stand for HelloFresh.
So they were at both conferences.
They were all, and apparently I didn't go into the big conference opposite. They're a really good one. They had a huge stand there. And as far as I can tell, I think HelloFresh have just decided they're going to go to every kind of expo, irrespective of what it's about, and just have a stand.
Well, I mean, people do always need to eat, I guess, right?
I know, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like, oh, look at this super high-tech metal 3D printer next to this one that can do 15 different materials and this one that can do microscopic prints. And then, oh, yeah, and you also get delivery service for food. You know? Like, what?
No, people got to eat, man. People love to eat.
That's
quite funny.
Just so weird.
I don't do HelloFresh, but I mean, I can see the appeal to it.
I did it when we had lockdown, actually, and I was lucky in that because we just signed up just before lockdown hit.
Okay.
It quite quickly filled up and wouldn't let any new customers.
Oh, right, because people were going crazy for it.
Yeah. So during lockdown, we were quite lucky in that we had sort of like 5 or 6 meals a week that were, you know, nice meals, proper home cooked stuff being delivered.
Nice.
So when it all got a bit awkward and it was difficult to get to the supermarket, and that really didn't affect us much because a big chunk of our food, certainly our main meal every day, was being delivered to us.
The thing I always found funny with that lockdown is how batshit crazy everybody went for toilet roll, man.
Yeah.
Like in the UK, that was one thing where like there was no toilet roll in the whole supermarket. I was like, you guys know,
especially because COVID really didn't give you the shits.
I know, right? Well, the even more.
I've had it now 6 times. I've had COVID, and I've never once got the shits from it.
No, I've had it at 3. But like we have, you know, we got 2 young children, and spoiler alert, you don't use toilet roll to clean the bottoms of young children, and their poo's hella worse than adults.
Yeah.
You know, you can use wipes which you could wash. A bit like people just went absolute crazy for toilet roll. I didn't understand it at all. I was like, but I mean, I must admit, at one point when we found out a store had toilet roll, I went and bought like 48 toilet rolls. I'm like, I don't know. In the zombie apocalypse, what's going to be left on the shelves? Not toilet roll, apparently.
So we get through loads of toilet roll, but only because my little boy's got the world's runniest nose.
All right, yeah. Mine's got hay fever, so.
He's just always had it. I think he's only had 1 day since he was born where his nose wasn't running.
Okay. It's maybe hay fever. You should
constantly
try him in because we've recently started giving ours hay fever medicine. You could try that just to see if it helps.
Oh, maybe. You might be like, because my wife's allergic to absolutely everything on earth.
Yeah, or you could get an air purifier. One of my friends
we have
was
got an
saying.
air purifier. We do use that.
Yeah, just to see if there's
I don't think it's a very good one though. We've got one of those Dyson ones.
Okay.
But actually, when you look at the specifications, they're not particularly exciting. It's more of just a big fan, really. I think the air purifier is secondary to that.
Marius says someone he saw got a cockroach in a HelloFresh box. Isn't that like you know, at the end of each week you get to pick one bonus item? Is that not what that is? No.
We stopped doing it, to be honest, because we had too many times when the HelloFresh thing would arrive and it'd have something missing out of it, or one of the things had gone bad, or they'd send us 3 meals that all had a sell-by date of the first day, you know?
Oh, they actually...
It happened too many times and we got the hump with it in the end.
So they do actually make mistakes, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Didn't know that.
I'm just catching up on the thing, mate. Yeah, so exactly, I really agree. The organic design is completely revolutionising a lot of manufacturing, especially from... Well, no, just everywhere, really. Looks a bit weird, though. It looks a bit sort of like alien and organic.
Hey, there's that new Alien movie coming out, like...
I know.
Date.
I'm trying to avoid too many spoilers because I'm hoping it's good because I love Alien.
Yeah, me too.
Alien Covenant was shit.
Which one was that? Was that the one after Prometheus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think much of that one.
A weird triangle alien, didn't it?
I didn't think Prometheus was too bad.
It was okay. One of the things that just really irritates me about that movie, though, is the fact that at the beginning they get lost on that ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the person who gets lost on the ship is the person responsible for making maps of the ship. So of all the people on the mission, if you've got one person who's probably not going to get lost, it's the person with the map.
Well, I guess that's not what they taught him in Hollywood, huh?
Well, yeah, he was clearly crap at his job.
I didn't remember that part of the movie. It's a long time. I think I only seen Prometheus maybe like the first time, maybe in the cinema actually.
I was really excited.
Yeah. So, Alien Covenant, is that what you called it? I think I've only seen it once. Was Weyland-Yutani in that one at all, or no?
Which one was that? Sorry,
The one that you just said was crap. The one after Prometheus.
A Covenant.
Was Weyland-Yutani?
Yeah, it
in
was. It was just a bit weird because I just didn't like the way they sort of made it all about that android guy, David, and they just sort of killed off the woman from the first movie for no apparent reason, like off-screen death.
I guess she wasn't very rememberable because I don't remember she was even in that second one.
She wasn't. No, they just killed her off between the movies.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a bit like how Hicks gets killed off between Aliens and Alien 3.
I see. Okay, well, that makes more sense.
Hicks and Newt for, again, no real reason.
Went for a midnight showing, says Antonius, and had too much for drink for Prometheus. Yeah, it was a bit... Wasn't the worst movie, I guess. I do like Michael Fassbender as well, usually.
It just felt like it wasn't an Alien movie. It really didn't fit the kind of... And it felt a bit like that with Alien Covenant as well. It just didn't fit. Didn't have the right feel to it.
I like the new movie, the new Predator one, but apparently, I watched that and thought it was okay, but it got slated.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
I don't think it was amazing in any way, but I thought it was all right.
But I just saw Dune, the new one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It basically, it's a more faithful. It's more faithful to the books than the previous, right?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any of the new Dune films, but I have read the books.
Okay, well then, if you read the books, you'd like the new films because they actually are kind of faithful to the books.
I'm a bit weird, and I quite like the sort of 80s.
The 80s Dune movie? I like the 80s Dune movie as well, honestly.
And everybody else says it was rubbish, but I thought it was fun.
Well, I mean, I saw it first when I was 10, so it was I don't know.
Well, you're a little bit older than me, aren't you?
I'm 41 this year.
Yeah, so you're a couple of years older than me. So I was
the thing young. When you saw a movie in the 80s and special effects were what they were at the time, I feel like you were just I feel like it would be the same as my kids watching if my kids haven't seen any of Avengers Endgame, for example.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they saw that, it would have because I remember being scared shitless at Highlander. I must have seen Highlander the first time when I was less than 10. So I was have been very early 90s, 91, 92. I must have been 8 or 9 years old. Highlander was an 18. And to me, that movie was real. It was the Krugen scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, the one that got me like that was Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Because I was, like I said, I'm a few years younger than you, so I was still only a little kid when I saw it at the cinema.
Yeah. I bet it was the bit at the end when they're in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
The raptor running around.
I still think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant movie. It's aged really, really well, I guess.
Really has it. It's aged much better than the later movies.
Yeah, because it's all I think you told me this because you said it's all practical effects.
It's all practical stuff. Like The Thing is. It's why it still looks good today.
Apparently, I saw today on Twitter that they're remaking the Thing video game, the 1990s.
Yeah, apparently it's The Thing or something else because it's only been teased.
Okay.
But people are thinking it looks like it's going to be The Thing. From Night Dive, have been doing the other remakes and that. They've done some great stuff so far. So, did you ever play the Thing video game?
I've got it. Yeah.
It's really good, isn't it?
I mean, it's not aged well at all.
It plays best, I think, on the Xbox version.
Okay, I've got the PC version.
The PC version suffered a bit from weird controls.
Yeah, definitely. But I was actually looking behind me to see if it's in that pile of games I've got there. I don't think so.
That was a great game. That was.
You saw my display though, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
They're so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, really are.
It's the first 2 displays I've ever bought, but considering how easy they are to put up and bring down, it could.
So you got a display sponsorship coming? Is that what we're looking at now? Because they keep sponsoring YouTubers.
Yeah, well, I'm not there yet, unfortunately. I had to buy my displays. I didn't plan on buying the Live display, but when I was like Googling, I was like looking around for like 80s movies, and that Obey picture showed up, and I just love that bit in that movie so much.
It's such a good film.
I couldn't not get it.
No, I can understand that. I don't have any They Live pictures up in here. I've got quite a few. I've got Blade Runner ones, and I've got a lot of Judge Dredd in here. Yeah. And then my Escape from New York. I've got a Thing one.
I know you've got the Escape from New York.
I've got an Evil Dead one that I need to put up as well. But my wife's getting a bit fed up with them because she's like, you can't have all these posters up because they're too scary. And admittedly, some of them are more than a little bit violent. I've got one here from Flesh, which was the 2000 AD comic with they go back in time and harvest dinosaurs, and like a T-Rex escapes and starts eating everybody. So it's quite gory. And that has to live behind the door in my office, so you can't see it if the door's open.
Okay.
Just in case. She's worried that my little boy is going to see it and freak out.
I was going to say, little boys generally don't get scared. Little girls get scared. Little boys
a little bit overprotective, but whatever.
Oh, you totally are overprotective with your first child. I know this. When you have the second child, you're too tired to care. It's a sad reality.
I've heard that. And like also apparently with discipline as well. Your first one, you're like, no, you mustn't do that. Sit on the naughty step. And the second one, just like, well, he's not burning the house down, so bugger it.
Yeah. So. But no, finally, I'm really glad to get the Blood Angels picture because that's official on display now.
I saw that they'd sort of signed up with GW to do official GW pictures, and I think that's quite cool.
I'd been wanting that Blood Angels, like it's the Codex art from 7th edition and 8th edition, and I'd seen it on like WarhammerArt.com, and I'd been wanting it for ages, but on WarhammerArt.com, it's like £300 for the canvas.
They're really expensive, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Well, I guess in the 5 years that I wanted it, I never once was able to justify £300 for a canvas, I guess.
I've got a couple from WarhammerArt.com.
Oh, big ones? Or just...
I've got the Sister of Battle one. I've got the 2nd edition Blood Angels art one.
Oh, cool.
You know, from
like, what size? Like A4?
No, they're only little ones. They're only little ones, so what's that? That's sort of like A3-ish size, something like that.
Okay.
And they're just in frames, but they are really cool. But they are also very expensive.
Apparently, I did not clip a bit of the sprue off this guy's cauldron. It's very lazy of me.
That's going to irritate you.
Yeah, I'm going to just take it off right now, but that's going to be a nightmare to...
Yep. To try and cover that little bit up. I'm just catching up on the chat of it. The person who reads the map is a different department. Yeah, clearly. I was a bit older when I saw Terminator and Donis. I think I was about 10, but it still blew my mind. The T-Rex scene apparently scared the crap out of Marius Gage, which I can't blame him for. And Eternal Crusaders telling us that there was a Thing game made in 2011 for the Xbox 360, but it was cancelled.
Oh, really?
I'd love that to get found because, yeah, a modern Thing game would be amazing. I'm hoping this remake is good. If it is the thing like we all suspect it is, and it's good, then I'm going to be super pre-order it, buy it day one, whatever. But I want that in my life, you know.
You know, speaking of the original Terminator, if you watch the bit at the end when Kyle Reese has put like the I don't exactly know what he was building. Was he building like petrol bombs, or what was the things he was building? The little cylinder. They were a bit like
They
were
were
like some sort of
plastic.
Oh, that's it.
You
Yeah.
make plastic out of stuff in your garage.
So at the very end, when you put the plastique into like the truck the Terminator was driving, and it blew up the truck, and they thought that they'd won, and then like the Terminator came back out the truck. He's obviously not dead. He's just lost all his skin.
Yeah.
I think the Terminator at that point, it might have been like claymation or stop motion or something.
Stop motion.
And it looks so friggin' fake if you watch it now.
That bit is not aged well, has it?
No, it looks so bad. But honestly, that bit in that movie, that was the bit that had me scared shitless. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's not aged. Do you know what? I know that they. So James Cameron, who did Terminator 2 and obviously Terminator 1 as well, he did a re-release of T2 on 4K Blu-ray. This was before I moved into this house. This was probably like 5 years ago. They did I think it was for like the 25th anniversary of T2. They did like a 4K Blu-ray release, and I'd never seen T2 in the cinema. I'd always seen it on like an old 15-inch television, you know, like when your TV was literally smaller than like your iPad of these years. So I bought that and I watched it, and I didn't even buy I didn't have a 4K player. I just bought the regular Blu-ray.
Yep.
And I watched the remaster of T2. And like halfway through the movie, when Arnold's like walking into the bar all naked or something, I rewinded it back, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "There's loads of bits in this, like off to the edge of the screen. Like I've seen this movie 100 times, and I'd never noticed this before, or I'd never seen this part before, or and like." Basically, I suppose it was like having the cinema experience, and like I'd seen T2 100 times, and the remaster of it was so frigging good.
Is it? Because some of the remasters I've seen have ended up with a load of digital noise, especially when they use AI upscaling.
Well, Predator was the worst remaster ever. The whole movie was just a grainy mess.
They do that a lot with music as well. So in a past life, I was a sound engineer, and I used to remember looking at some of the David Bowie when they remastered all of his albums. They absolutely mashed them because they put so much compression on them to try and make them as loud as modern albums. They just killed any dynamic range whatsoever, and it just sounded shit. And they've done a lot of that with movies as well.
Well, don't buy Predator on 4K because that's the worst movie I've ever bought on 4K. Like the whole movie is just a grainy mess. It's so bad that like I don't know if you remember this, but there's like at the very start of Predator, you know when they're coming in with the chopper?
Yeah.
To like drop them off. It's so bad that you can tell that is stock footage because it's just like on a whole, like that bit is not grainy, and then the movie starts and it's like grain, and then they cut back to the chopper and it's like this is fine. Then it touches the movie, it's like grain, and it's like that bit of the chopper, them coming in Predator, that wasn't even. Like, they didn't even film that. They just bought that from, like, some third-party company for stock footage, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. So, because they're done cheaply, and just cheap cash grabs, really, aren't they?
But the Terminator 2 remaster was friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Best remaster from the 90s I've ever seen, probably. Like, when he's... You know at the start of the movie when they have the little fight when he steps on, like, the roses... And like Arnold smashes the door and he shoots him in the back and it's like boom, 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 and then he spins around and he gets some of the shotgun. That bit, I think that was all practical effects, probably rather because they probably didn't have CG to do that in.
Certainly not on the kind of level that we're used to now.
Yeah, so that bit just like that hasn't aged a day. That bit just looked amazing, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a brilliant remaster. But I just saw on I got an email the other day because I sign up to a website that sends you about all these movie remasters because like me and you I guess love our 80s, love our 90s movies, and they said that they are remastering Terminator 1 now. There's a 4K version coming out in the next couple of months. It's so early that they don't actually have like the box art for the 4K version. They just know it's coming. So it's like, you know, like I got an email saying like box art to be decided or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a 4K version of T1 coming, and like T1 is a brilliant movie, but like I was just thinking in my head, which way is it going to go? Is it going to be a grainy mess?
Shit.
Yeah, it could go either way, right? Based on Terminator 2 and Predator, it could literally go either way.
Zach's just put in the chat, go back and watch The Matrix. Is aged so badly? Well, I hope not, because I've actually got tickets to go and see The Matrix at the cinema on Saturday.
Oh, do you? What part is The Matrix has aged badly?
I don't know. I can't think of anything. I mean, that bit right at the end. You know, he flies up into the sky.
Oh yeah, that bit.
That's going to look dreadful. But hopefully,
that bit was never that clear anyway, was it? It was pretty. It was a pretty quick segment.
Yeah. So it's because it's 25th anniversary of The Matrix.
Have you got IMAX tickets or just regular tickets?
No, just regular cinema. But still, I didn't get to see it in the cinema first time round.
Yeah. So I don't think I did either, to be honest. Did it even IMAX wasn't even a thing actually when it came out in 1999? Would it have been? So I think the first IMAX movie I saw was about 2007 actually.
This will blow your mind. The first IMAX movie I saw was the Blade Runner 2077 sequel. So what was that? About 2017, 2018?
Oh, yeah, I think that is about 6 years ago. The first IMAX movie I think I saw was Spectre, the James Bond one.
Oh yeah.
I think that was about 2008 maybe, but
I've never been to an IMAX, and I wanted to, but they're quite a long way away from. There isn't one near me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm such a huge Blade Runner fan, when the 2077 was coming out, my wife for my birthday bought me tickets to the IMAX. We had to go down on the train. So we made a proper day of it. It was almost like going down to London for a show, except that we were going to the cinema to see Blade Runner. But I was really impressed with it. I like 2077. I know the storyline is a bit shit, but the as a cinematography kind of like cinematographic experience, it's an incredible thing to see.
I need to watch it. I've not seen it.
You watch it and you want a 4K huge TV, and it will just blow your mind by how amazing it looks. And you're so sort of blown away by that, you don't really pay attention to the fact the storyline's pretty pedestrian.
Okay.
It's just purely on the shooting.
Is Harrison Ford a bit character in it then, or is he mean?
Yeah, he's not the main character. He's too old.
Yeah, he has been too old for a while. I thought
he's in it. He's important, but he only sort of comes in about halfway through. Ryan Gosling's the main character, and he does do a very good job of it.
I do like Ryan Gosling.
As well.
Yeah, I think the closest IMAX to me, and possibly you as well, Marius, might be Edinburgh, because I think that's where I saw Spectre. I don't think there's one in Dundee actually, so I think we'd have to go all the way to Edinburgh.
Because of course, old Mark's spoiled. I think there's loads of them in Birmingham.
Yeah, I think there was. But I suppose it just happens to be where you live, I guess.
Yeah. I live near Cambridge, and there's a bit of a dead zone here. One of the other things that there's not one for bloody miles is a ski slope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's dry ski slopes dotted all around the country, but I haven't got one within 2 hours of me.
Oh, well, okay.
Not dry ski. No, there's indoor ski slopes, not dry ones. There's a few dry ones about. But if you've ever been dry ski slopes, Ian, it's hateful.
What's hateful about dry skiing? I've never been.
You're effectively just, if you've got a really stiff garden broom.
Yes.
Right, then you made the floor out of it.
Okay. And
then you just slide around on it.
That's all it is it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's very slippery, but it's bloody awful, especially if you fall over.
I was going to say it'd be sore if you fall over, yeah.
So I do like to ski, not that I've been all that much recently. Alan was rude enough to be born, that's my little boy, rude enough to be born just as I was supposed to be on a ski trip in Italy. So I had to cancel my trip so that I could be at the birth of my child.
Well, we had booked to go to Florida when our first one was born, and it got cancelled because of COVID. But in hindsight, I'm actually kind of glad it got cancelled because she would have been way too young, and it would have just been an absolute nightmare trying to keep her cold. And the
worst thing for me is he wasn't born; he was late.
He was late.
So if I'd gone, I could have gone, got back, had a few days, and then he was born.
And then you would have been good. You can never tell, can you? Oh well. That's cute.
Suppose you've got to let these things go because apparently they're important.
I was going to say, you in 10 years' time, you just need to take him on a ski trip and be like, this was the trip I was going to go on.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Oh, no, I'm going to make sure he knows it. I'll be like, your dad would have been this much better at skiing if you hadn't been so rude as to have your due date when he was supposed to be going skiing. So he had to cancel his trip.
Yeah. I saw Hellstorm Mikey was doing a 120 player GT in Sheffield. Is that near you?
Oh, yeah. Sheffield?
Yeah.
That's about 3 hours away.
Okay. It's quite far north into England. I don't know England all that well, but I guess if I was going to go to an event in England, that one would make sense for me to go to.
Well, I'm pretty south, but to be fair, 3 hours isn't the end of the world. But it's a hotel, you know?
Yeah.
Not close enough that I'd be driving there and then driving back.
Yeah. I can't. I think I would have pretty much any tournament I go to outside of Elgin, I have to stay over or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just haven't been doing that because kids.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't really been to any events really this year. I've just been too busy. But I've got one in November booked with Mark because we're doing a doubles tournament.
You're doing doubles, aren't you?
Yeah. Which I'm quite looking forward to, but I've nowhere near got my stuff painted for it. But I've got a couple of months yet.
I was going to say, you're nowhere near painted the stuff for it, but you're not even trying. You're just painting some skeletons. You're just like, man, I friggin' hate rushing to have stuff painted for events. It's like...
Yeah, I do as well. To be fair, I've just got... What have I got to do? I need to finish my ballistas.
Mm-hmm.
Sit behind me, making me feel guilty.
Okay, good.
I've got to build and paint a Brutalis.
Yes.
And I've got to build and paint a Furioso.
Yeah, Marius, that sounds...
I'm running one of every non-Legends Dreadnought.
Yeah, Marius, that sounds about right. I think it said 7 or 8 hours for me to get to Sheffield, so it would be a whole weekend with a staying over. But still, it's possibly one of the most northern England tournaments that I've seen yet. There are some events that go on in like Glasgow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I like to go to new places. I mean, I've visited Glasgow 100 times in my life, I guess. I've never visited Sheffield.
Yeah. Well, you've got to come down to come and visit Warhammer World at some point. I
know, yeah. I'd like to go to an event at Warhammer World at some point, honestly.
Yeah. Well, when you come down, Warhammer World is only about an hour. About an hour away from Mark and an hour and a half from me.
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome to come and stay.
Yeah, I do. I do want to go to an event at Warhammer World just to say I've done it, I guess. Plus, they've got a nice event hall, right?
Sorry?
They've got a nice event hall there.
They've got a fantastic event hall, great big place, yeah. And the bar and that there is pretty nice.
Is it still themed like a castle, the event hall?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So even when they redid it a few years ago, and they've still sort of kept the same theme.
It's sort of got like a Warhammer fantasy battles vibe, right?
Yeah. And like, of course, the bar which connects to it is Bugman's Bar.
Yep. Yeah. Bugman's Bar also has a nice outdoor area as well.
Not that nice.
Okay, it was a sunny day I was there, so it seemed nice. In Britain, if you get a sunny day, maybe anywhere could be nice, right?
Everywhere seems nice to me. Do you see the picture that Mark posted earlier of his holiday?
Yes.
You lucky bastard. I was away all last week. I was on holiday and it pissed down with rain every single day.
Yeah, that's the way of the world, isn't it? That's the way of the world. I took my 2-year-old hiking on Saturday past.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got one of those, they're called little life carriers, which is like it's like a hiking backpack where you can put your young child into the backpack and you can carry them around.
I've got one too.
And they're a great thing. They're honestly great. Little life carriers, I swear by them. But they're
enough to give you backache though, don't it?
Yeah, and they say that they're only for up to £30, which is 2.5 stone. Well, Michael is more than 2.5 stone. He's 33 pounds. So I'm carrying Michael around, who's too heavy for the backpack, and I've got lunch in the backpack, and I've got water in the backpack. And after about a mile, I was like, "All right, Michael, you're walking," because like the sweat's dripping off me because he's so friggin' heavy. Yeah. And
I think I managed to do the most I've done is 2 or 3 hours with him in there, and it absolutely kills my back because mine's a lot littler than yours.
Yeah.
He's about 14 kilos or something.
14. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
they're heavy, right? So he walked like 2 miles, and then for the last like mile, he's saying to me, he's like, "Daddy, I just go in backpack." I was like, "Michael, you just walk." And then he's like, "Daddy, just put me in backpack." I was like, "Michael, just walk."
I tried to make mine walk. We'd still be there.
And he was just like being so matter of fact about it. He's like, "Daddy, I tired. I go backpack." I was like, "No, Michael, you walk to the car and then you can have some chocolate. Come on." So we did that where it was sunny on Saturday. So that was nice. We had hailstones this week, by the way.
Sorry?
We had hailstones this week.
Well, I don't have any hailstones, but it was certainly pissed down every day. Right. Well, I've just zenithal highlighted all 30 or so skeletons.
Very good.
I don't know how long that took me to do the volumes on them all, but
57 minutes.
So it took me an hour to paint them all white and with an airbrush. So I don't think I'm going to get many of the bones painted with a hairy brush then.
Probably not.
But one step at a time and all that.
Yeah. If you just do 1 hour of painting a day, that's 365 hours of painting in a year.
It is. That's what they say. I don't really want to do 1 hour painting. Well, I'd love to do 1 hour painting a day, but the chance of me getting an hour a day to paint is nil.
Yeah, I know. I don't get to do that anymore. I used to do that. I used to probably do 2 hours every day.
Yeah, same. In fact, go back sort of a couple of years, and I used to spend at least a couple of hours a day, every day, without fail, painting, because I could afford to take on loads of commission jobs and that. And now I don't have any commission work on at the moment because I just haven't got time to do it. Which is annoying, actually, because that used to be a bit of a source of income for me, and I've had to knock it on the head because it was never a very particularly well-paying source of income. So now the only sort of like thing that I can afford to do on the side is tutoring.
Yeah.
Because that pays a bit better. But I have to admit that I preferred painting. That was more fun.
Well, I made a YouTube video the other night. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe you didn't. Nobody probably saw it. It didn't do that well. It was my video about Space Marine 1. Did you see it?
Space Marine 1?
Yeah. I did a video is it worth playing?
I didn't even see it pop up on my subscription feed, so that says something.
Yeah, that tells me that YouTube algorithm just buried it for whatever reason.
When your thing comes up, it pops up in the subscription feed, and I watch it, but I've genuinely not seen. The last one I saw from you, I think, was Monday's video. What was that? Monday's video?
Would it have been Battle Report one or the one about...
It's one about winning, is Blood Angels meta or something?
All right, yeah, cool. The Impulsor video, yeah. Yeah, YouTube just buried this video on me, so I spent like 6 hours on that video. So like, I went and looked at the analytics, and it had made like £1.20. So I was like, cool. That video made me 20 pence per hour for the six hours I worked on it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
I was like, well, that was a good video, I guess. YouTube, I apparently still know nothing about YouTube.
Well, it certainly is not something that's going to make you rich, is it? Well, it's not going to make me rich. Maybe it makes someone. Some of the chat will be saying, "Yeah, well, I bring in $5,000 a month, and all I do is I post reaction videos for like 20 seconds of me going or whatever."
Loads of people watched it though. Look, Ryan watched it, Ardeen watched it. You guys are champions. Thanks for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you know what? I quite enjoyed making it.
Is it worth me watching it? Let's be honest here. Is it worth me watching? I've played Space Marine 1. It was a great game.
I thought I'd done some good video editing in it. I mean, I spent ages, like, I literally spent at least 6 hours on
video
it.
editing and like your stuff with the green screen and that has been coming on leaps and bounds.
Well, yeah, I watched it
getting
back.
really good at that.
Thank you, man. I watched it back and thought it was an okay video. I didn't think it was going to make me 20 pence an hour. If I thought it was going to make 20 pence an hour, I wouldn't have fucking bothered. I'd have jacked off for 6 hours or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I jacked off for 5 hours and then gone and got Domino's pizza delivery for the other one. Still made no money.
But yeah, it wasn't what I expected. I thought it would do pretty well because I thought I was being smart. I was like, everyone's making Space Marine 2 videos, right? So if I try and make a Space Marine 2 video, I'll get lost in the noise. So I'll do Space Marine 1 and I'll be really smart and I'll talk about it, and that'll definitely, everyone will be interested because they're excited about Space Marine 2. Nope, nobody fucking watched it. Apart from...
When did it come out, Space Marine 2?
9th of September. If you'd watched my video, you would have known because I mentioned that.
If it had been good enough for YouTube to suggest it.
You couldn't make it up. Yeah, 9th of September. It is expensive though, man. I think it's going to be £90.
I'm not paying that. Go away.
That's the price of video games now, man. It's gone crazy.
The only game I can genuinely say that I've paid more than kind of like 50 quid for in the last couple of years is I did buy Diablo 4. And I think we paid 60, 70 quid for that or something.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to play it with my wife.
That's fair.
But I'm not paying that much money for it. It's ridiculous. I'm not. No, go away.
I really do want Space Marine 2, though. Like, I really do want it.
I do as well. I like Space Marine 1. That's a good game. And I'm really glad they've made a sequel.
Yeah. Long time between, 11 years, apparently, between the sequels. Normally, when they live that long, they don't come back to it. So it's...
Right. Do you remember, was it Eternal Crusade or something? There was an MMO.
Oh, I do remember that. I played it a little bit. Valrak loved that game. He was always playing it. That's how I found out about it.
I put some decent wedge into that in the Kickstarter.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Because when it was originally Kickstarted or whatever, it was going to be like a single-player kind of PvE. You play as a Space Marine versus loads of Tyranids. You can run around the world and that sort of thing. Oh, that sounded wicked. And then by the time they actually got anything playable, it was just a PvP. It's basically the PvP mod for Space Marine.
Space Marine, okay.
And that was it. And I was just like, well, I don't like PvP. So, and they never released the rest of the game, so I just wasted all my money there.
I think games that only do a PvP mode are a little bit risky.
I just need
because you need like critical mass on the player base and stuff to make that work. Mario says 90 quid is a bargain. He's gone for the full collector's edition. I guess he's going for the statue of Titus, I think, with his chainsword into Gene Sealer's head or something. I mean, that is
only because I want to find out why Titus got knocked down from a captain to a lieutenant.
Oh, did you read the recent White Dwarf?
I did read the thing in White Dwarf, but that doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay, I covered that in my video as well.
Absolutely nonsense. The whole thing was only brevied up to captain or some bollocks.
I was going to say it's a retcon. That's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a retcon.
Someone commented on the video because
apart from it's an excuse to get another Space Marine lieutenant. That's the only reason.
That's the reason. There we go. You have hit the nail on the head. Everybody else has been sleeping under a rock. They want to sell another lieutenant. They thought there's not enough lieutenants in the range. We need another one.
So it's easier to, just knock him back down to lieutenant, build a model, and Bob's your uncle. You've got yet another Space Marine lieutenant model that no one will ever play because nobody's ever used a Space Marine lieutenant since Space Marine lieutenants have been a thing. Because they weren't a thing before 8th edition, were they?
I must admit, I have never I think maybe like one time I fielded a Space Marine lieutenant. They're not something I ever go hard on.
To be honest, a few times I've thought about them because it's not quite such a thing now, but certainly in 9th when auras were a big thing, mathematically, reroll 1s to hit and reroll 1s to wound is exactly the same. So if you only bring the captain or whatever just for its reroll aura, then you're better off bringing lieutenant, save 20 points, get the same aura. Equivalent. But I never used to bring a captain, to be honest. In 9th edition, I used to use a chaplain all the time.
I run some captains in 9th edition.
I know you liked your bike captain and that, but I because I don't like loading things up with war gear because I'm too cheap to pay for it. Not that matters anymore. So I never used to use a captain because you had to give it too much war gear to make it worth the points. And I thought, well, for 140 points and nothing else, I can have almost the same survivability in a chaplain on a bike.
True. Antonius says that Titus loadout isn't even legal. What's up with Startus Party? I don't know what Titus's default... Was it not bolt pistol and chainsword? I mean, surely that's legal.
Maybe it's not for a lieutenant. Bolt pistol, chainsword and jump pack, or has he lost his jump pack in the transition through the Rubicon?
I think he does get a jump pack in the new game, but I don't know if you have it all the time. Like in the first game, you sort of give it, and then it just sort of falls.
Because he'd pick it up, and he'd suddenly be like, "Oh, I've got a jump pack." You do a jump pack bit, and then it'd blow off his back, and he'd just be wearing a normal Space Marine power pack. You're like, well, how did that work?
I never thought about the fact that you still had the normal power pack on there. Yeah, good point. Well made. You were paying more attention than I was, I guess.
It's like, there's that whole thing in what was it? Oh shit, the one with the invasion of the Nids of Baal.
High Field of Leviathan?
Yeah, the book. What's the book?
Devastation of Baal.
Devastation of Baal. So in Devastation of Baal, Dante's talking about how he's running out of fuel in his backpack and he's going to be running around on foot soon, and this sort of stuff. Because you either have a jump pack or you've got a power pack. You can't have both on at the same time.
No, you can't. And what did Dante do when his jump pack ran out? Did he pick up a power pack? Yeah, they should have just put a little fuel meter on the HUD and then just been like, you're out of fuel. Collected more.
Could, yeah. Or even if they just he lands near a thingy and he takes it off and he puts a power pack on or something.
Yeah, because they did have those requisition things where you got the new weapons in that game.
So you run over to the drop pod or whatever and you swap to the other thing for the next section. That would have worked perfectly fine. But they didn't. It just sort of blew off and suddenly he was wearing a normal one again.
Okay. That's a good point.
Little things that irritate me, this little discontinuities.
True.
What do I want to mix with this? I need some sort of thinner. What have we got?
Lieutenants can't take chainswords.
Lieutenants can't take chainsaws. Why not?
I mean, I feel like they definitely could at some point. There must
you
be.
Definitely can or could. 10th edition is wank. Well, there, I've said it. It's in the open.
It's in the open, yeah. It's out loud.
It's out loud. Tony doesn't like 10th edition very much.
They did a new MetaWatch article today, by the way.
There is, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
I didn't read it as much as I watched the video that they did. Or I listened to the video that they did. It sounds like they have some positive stuff, the new chapter approved mission cards sound like they're going to be better.
The new mission cards do look good. I quite like the current mission cards, to be honest.
They're making it so OC units can't OC0 units can't perform actions.
So you can't do it with your Death Company anymore then?
Yeah, but you also, by the same thing, can't do actions with friggin' spore mines or nurglings, which I think is a good change.
I don't have a problem, to be honest, with not being able to do it with Death Company, because they're really supposed to be busy going, I am Sanguinius and you're all Horus. That's true. I can't imagine them doing many.
And they've said that each map, or not each map, what do you call a thing like the mission rule, like Chilling Rain? Is that what they call that?
Yeah.
They've got rid of Chilling Rain, doesn't exist anymore, and each mission rule is going to have a benefit to battle line troops.
All right.
So, like every mission you play, there's going to be some sort of bonus to battle line.
Because if I'm honest, I haven't run a squad of battle line troops in 10th edition.
Yeah, I haven't run.
Well, for Blood Angels, rephrase that slightly, because why the hell would I?
Yeah, well, they said that one of the rules might be that your battle line units can advance and do an action. One of the other rules might be your battle line units can shoot and do an action. I think they even said battle line units might be allowed to do actions in close combat as well. I might be wrong there, though. I might be remembering incorrectly.
So giving a reason to bring battle line is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. I never liked when you had to build the detachments with the battle lines, so you always ended up with every Blood Angels list needs a boatload of scout units so that I can get these detachments. I never really liked that.
Of all of the editions, I still like the kind of 3rd edition force organisation charts best. Because they made it at one point where you could choose your organisation chart.
I don't remember that, honestly.
So you had your standard one, which meant you had to bring 2 troops and HQ.
Yep.
But then you had other ones where you could be like, it was all fast attack, and you only allowed 1 unit of troops, and no heavy support, or there was a heavy support one which really limits your number of elites and fast attack and things like that. So they had all these different charts, and you would basically pick the chart for the type of mission you were playing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you build your army around that organization, and that was cool because it meant you could. It gave a reason to bring all the different types of unit, but also it meant that you could build a really themed army.
Yeah.
If you decided, I'm going to go with this fast attack theme, and you pick the fast attack force organization chart, and you can really build a cool thematic army. And it had its downsides, which it should do, because I don't think making it so skew lists are the only way to play is a good thing. I've never liked playing skew lists, and so sort of kind of push you down the route of playing more balanced is, I think, a good thing.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if the battle line requirements are enough to stop people building those skew lists.
Yeah,
that will be the $1 million question, right? Like, where someone who's not running any battle line, do they feel now that they should be? Is the bonus enough?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because apparently it says, someone's written here, who was that? Antonia says that the points for the battle line units are going up as well.
Oh, that's not great.
So I don't know if you end up bringing them or not. Showing another thing. What's he put there? Oh, Tony's United to dislike 10th. Yeah, 10th. A lot of people aren't that fond of it, I think. Harry Dens pointed out the War Machine got sold. Do you know much about War Machine, John?
War Machine. The War Machine I know is the extra suit that Tony Stark gave to the. So I guess not.
So War Machine is another miniatures game. It's been kicking around for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been sold, I think this week actually. I saw there was a blog post from Steamforge. It's been sold to Steamforge, who made like the Resident Evil board game and that.
Okay.
And it's quite a big game. It's been running for 25 odd years. And it's sort of a steampunky, slightly skirmishier, more miniatures game.
Okay.
It's been kicking around for years. It's quite a popular one, and it's been bought out by Steamforge, which is quite interesting because I've got some Steamforge board games that are very good, but I will say all of the miniatures I've had from Steamforge are shit.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
Apparently they're keeping the current kind of resin systems, and they're investing in proper HIPS models. So Steamforge is a bigger company than whoever it was that currently makes War Machine. I've suddenly forgotten. And they're going to invest in proper stuff. Now, War Machine always looks cool. It's got really cool, like I say, steampunky robots and things like that in it. But what I'm more interested in, and this is purely selfish, is I do buy a lot of Steamforge products. They made all the Resident Evil games, and I've got all of them. They made the Devil May Cry game that I've got sitting up there. They've made a RuneScape game that I've played. And the miniatures quality is awful in them. But if they're investing all this money in getting sort of like HIPs set up to do high quality miniatures, because they're also the people who make it's Privateer Press, that's it. They're the people who make P3 paints.
Okay.
Have you come across those?
No.
So P3 paints is made by the same people as War Machine, and Steamforge have bought those as well.
Okay,
so
interesting.
If they put all this money into making high quality miniatures for War Machine, it might mean that we'll start seeing high quality miniatures for some of their board games as well. And that'd be nice.
I was going to say, there's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of excitement in just high quality miniatures these days, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Kickstarter has kind of created that where, like, if you have a decent looking, like miniatures game of almost any genre, if you can prove that it's going to have good rules and it's exciting and it's got beautiful miniatures, you can typically, I feel like, get it kickstarted. Because I have friends all the time saying like, "Hey, have you kickstarted this? Have you kickstarted that?" And at some point, I just went like,
probably a dozen games based purely on the quality of the miniatures in them.
Yeah, well, I bought maybe like 4 or 5 Kickstarter miniatures games, and then I was like, right, I got five miniatures games and I haven't played any of them. So for me, That's fine right now. I'm not buying more, but I can see the appeal, and I know people that do it all the time.
So I've always quite liked supporting little manufacturers of miniatures and that, and I've got a few that I've bought more recently that I think are really interesting to look at. One of the games I saw the other day, I can't remember the name of it, was I'll dig it out in a second when I finish painting this bit. And their big thing was they were trying to make an environmentally sustainable miniatures game, which is
cool.
interesting because, of course,
with plastic.
Yes, it's
something
using
else?
like recycled plastics and things like that.
Oh, cool.
And all the packaging is cardboard and recycled materials. And I just think that's really cool.
No, my wife loves all that sustainability stuff, so no, I get it.
I'm just going to find the game because it is exciting that there's new and interesting things going on there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where did I put it?
Oh, hey Phil, how you doing?
Enviro Games, that's it.
Say that again?
It's called Enviro Games.
Enviro Games, okay.
Yeah, hang on. So if you give me a second, I'll show you because I can just put that into my hang on. Oh, hang on, I've done it the wrong way around here. Cancel that, delete that. Move. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. We want that.
Hello, a new grot, Phil the grot. Hello, Phil. Thank you so much. All right, cool. Yes, we see this.
So can you see that?
Shrink it down like 10% because it's coming off the left-hand edge a little bit and the right-hand edge a little bit. Because your stream is half the screen, basically.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can see it. Yeah. Our top products.
This Novus Malum or something. So
yes.
So they're all about this kind of like super environmental game, so that the tokens and that are all made out of etched wood. So they just look pretty cool. It's a nice, quick-looking game. It's got a map, and I do like a good map. It's like my mum always used to say that if you start off reading a book and it's got a map at the beginning, you know it's going to be a good book.
Okay.
But they've got some quite cool sort of. They've got a crap website, but they've got some cool sort of designs. Some of the models look cool. Look.
Oh, they do look cool, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty good.
And they're enviro games. That's the future, man. Good for them.
Yeah.
Aradine, thank you so much for the gifted 5 gifted memberships. Aradine coming in with tonight.
Aradine, you're always doing this, and it's really appreciated. That's really appreciated. Seriously, that means a lot to us. That does. Really does help us out. So anyway, so this game just sort of like really appealed to me. I'd like to pick up a copy because it's not particularly expensive. I don't think. Where's the?
I thought it was like $70. That seems pretty reasonable, to be honest.
I think so. It's got the only thing I wasn't so sold on was that a lot of the miniatures do repeat themselves. So I wish I had a few more. It reminds me a little bit of older Warhammer miniatures. You know, when you used to get like, you'd have a unit of 30 models and actually 15 in one pose and 15 in another pose. You know.
Yeah.
But it does seem quite reasonably priced in that. So when I've got a bit of time, I'm going to pick this up and we'll try and do a review or something of it. I think that'll be pretty cool.
I think future products like this that are sustainable, I mean,
yeah,
that's where everybody should be aiming to go for. That's so good.
Because the other one that I've looked at recently is this, and I actually bought these.
Okay.
Because it's just a miniatures company. And I bought them purely because look how cute they are.
I was going to say, they look very cute, yeah. What are you going to do with them?
I'm just going to paint them.
Okay.
I've just bought them to paint if I ever get some spare time.
Nice.
I quite like the fact that they're metal ones as well. So they're beautiful sort of miniatures. Trying to find them. I think it's that one. Is it maybe that one? Yeah, here we go. So I didn't buy the big sort of set. I think I bought the little set or something. I think I just bought a little unit of 4 or 5 of them or something.
And it's been a long time since I bought a metal model new. Huh?
I know, but then they just look so cute. I couldn't.
You couldn't not get them.
I could not get them.
Fair enough. Hey, you don't have to justify yourself to me.
It was a little while ago I bought them as well, so I've not done anything with them yet. But I do hope to get them all just for a laugh.
I'm working on Outriders this evening, Rutger, and I was going to say, tell us about the skeletons that you're working on. They're not all fantasy models, are they? They are for a fantasy army, right?
They're going to be for Old World because I've got the Old World rulebook, and
but you're making a mishmash. Like you got some modern models in there as well.
So I've got a few really old ones, so you can see them a little bit better now. I suppose now I've given them a bit of colour, well, a bit of thing. So I've got some of this is old Warhammer Fantasies. That's an old metal miniature, and then I've printed sort of resin bits off on my printer, just sort of like add a bit of detail to the bases. So that's an old metal miniature from sort of the early 90s. Then I've got some of these are the new Soulblight Gravelords ones. So I've got some of these models from the new skeleton range. And then I've got some other models from Cursed City mixed in there.
How did you get your hands on the reprint of Cursed City, or did you?
No, I was lucky enough that I got it in the first print.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put in there, I've got some Blood Bowl miniatures as well. So some of the Blood Bowl undead teams. I don't have the Blood Bowl skeleton team because the same reason it stopped being for sale. I don't know if it's come back yet. But I've got a load of the Blood Bowl sort of necromantic models, and I'm mixing those in and the vampires in.
Okay.
So effectively, I'm just sort of doing a mishmash of undead through the ages.
I think that's dope, man.
To try and make together, because it's the Warhammer kind of old world fantasy version of Legends.
Yes.
Some of the armies, they call them armies of legacy or something. Armies of renown, I don't know whatever it was, but it basically the Legends ones. So that means that I'm never going to get an army book. I've just got the PDF and things like that, which is actually really liberating because I know exactly what there is available for my army. It's in this army book that exists.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in going to any tournaments anyway because I'm only building it for fun. And it means I can mishmash. There's no FOMO because there's nothing coming out.
Yep.
And I'm just going on like eBay or trading with people and stuff. So I've got like this, that's an original black coach.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I could use the new black coach, or I could get hold of this, which is all metal, and paint this.
What year does that black coach have? A year on the box?
I remember it coming out, which makes me feel old. 2001.
2001. Okay, that's later than I thought it was. Honestly,
it's newer than it seems. It's not as old as some of these skeletons and that, but it's just fun. You can't see it because I haven't whited this one to do the Zenithal, but that's an original Necromancer from very old in the day. And then alongside it, I've got one of the new vampire accounts because I just think it's cool. So it's just an excuse for me to put together mishmash of undead through the ages and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, my Blood Angels army is Blood Angels through the ages. I'm still running a Predator from like 1994, maybe.
I think I've got a few of the older 40k stuff in there, not quite as much as you do, because I sold a lot of my old Blood Angels many years ago.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
And I've been slowly sort of getting them back together. So I'm just.
I was really.
Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say I was really lucky. I actually gave all my Warhammer stuff away. Probably like when I was like 15 or 16 or maybe slightly older, that I gave it all the way to my brother, but he gave it all back to me. Yeah.
Well, that's lucky. So I have given the odd army away. I gave away a Dark Eldar army a few years ago. It was unpainted as well, which is when you're like, I've got all this stuff.
Yes.
Boxes of stuff. And I was talking to mate and he was like, oh, I quite like I was like, I'll tell you what, hang on. And I just gave him the army. Because, well, I didn't need it.
And when were you getting to it, I guess? Same as, I was going to say, it's going to be same as those eco guys that you just talked about. They're very cool, but when are you getting to them, man?
Yeah, exactly.
When's that happening?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just sort of scrolling back through some of the chat. welcome to Grot, Phil Paraggio. Thank you for becoming a member. We've already said cheers to Ariden for giving us some memberships to people, which is very, very kind of them. What's we got? Ravage Star people. Oh, isn't that the Americans? Oh, who's that?
That's a Kickstarter as well,
channel.
Ravage Star, is it? No?
They're a bit like alternate 40k models, really focusing on the Chaos Marines. And they do look pretty
is that not Mini Wargamer Dave's
yes, it
stuff?
is. That's who it is, yeah.
I mean, they do look cool, I must admit.
They do look quite cool.
So what we're saying is we need to design some blood vampires. Then we can call them something like blood vampires of the 30th century.
Or something bizarre, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, vampires with soul. Yeah, so we could, and it'd be quite cool. But unfortunately, I have zero knowledge or skill of miniature designing.
Yeah, same.
So I think we're at square zero with that one.
We are literally at square zero, yes, and we will be stuck on square zero because that's the sad reality of it.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Ariden's going away for 6 months. Where are you going to, Ariden? When I have more spare time. Yeah, I know I always say it, and that's never going to happen. Well, it will happen in about 5 or 6 years when my little boy goes to school.
It'll happen as well when your kids start going to bed easier, man.
Yeah, maybe. And then Astartes Party says, Tony buying more stuff gives me an excuse to buy a box of Inceptors and add to my pile of shame and grey. Yeah. All Specs has started a minute line, has he?
No way. Really?
That's what it says here. I don't know. I have to look that up. Seems a bit mad to me. I mean, that guy's just too busy. How's he got time to do that? In between putting up like 5 videos a day.
I was going to say, the guy's a machine. I swear, like, I don't actually know if he's human. I think we were talking about the Terminator earlier. I think he's been sent back through time to make Warhammer content.
He's an AI construct. So he's actually ChatGPT 5.0.
Yeah, sent back in time from the future.
To test it, they thought, well, we'll see like if this concept for, can work. Can it mimic a human? And they've had him running, as like a trial before he gets released to the public.
It's a 3D print line. Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So STLs.
I mean, I suppose that takes out a lot of the logistics nightmare.
Yeah, it would, yeah. I do have quite a lot of fun. We do quite a lot of 3D printing at school. I know we talked about it earlier. And Bamboo, who makes some particularly good FDM printers, have got a massive sale on at the moment.
For the printers or for STLs?
For printers. They're FDM, so they're no good for miniatures, but they are quite good for terrain and things.
I see. Okay.
And they've got quite a big sale on at the moment, and I'm very tempted with an FDM printer for printing terrain on. I've got my resin one, which I use, but I've been mostly using that for printing like basing bits and things like that.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair, I pretty much donated it to the school for the kids to use. That's why I bought it. Because
you're a very kind teacher, aren't you? My teachers, when I was at school, didn't do shit.
Well, you do the best for your kids, don't you? You do the best for your students. I think you have to.
Sounds like you should be winning Teacher of the Year award.
No, there are a lot better teachers than I am, believe me. And ones that are far more altruistic as well.
What does that word mean? Sorry.
Selfless. They'll give and giving more to the.
Yeah, I get that. That can be hard, though.
You do what you can.
Yeah.
But yeah. Joe, I'm gonna paint that metal guy. Now we had him in hand. The detail on this is so big, it's hilarious. and I love it for it. It's so goofy.
The old metal model.
Yeah. Like, no creature had a skull that was this shaped.
Well,
but the kind of exaggerated features is what gave them their charm.
Yes, of course
it was the old equivalent. It was heroic scale, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like massive hands and head.
The thing I don't miss about metal models is like when you drop them and they always smashed.
Or chipped.
Yeah, or chipped, yeah. Whereas the plastic ones, you drop them and most of the time they just bounce.
Yeah,
it's like my favourite thing about plastic models.
Because even the resin ones will break quite easily. I've got a Valdor that I've been working on for ages. And in all honesty, the reason I haven't finished it was my cat knocked it off my painting table, jumping up there, and it hit the ground and snapped off a very thin, like part of it. And I tried to repair it, and I did an okay job, but it's not as good as it was, and that just killed any enthusiasm. I had to finish painting this sort of like 80 odd quid character model.
Nasty, man.
And it's just sat there making me feel bad.
As it does, I suppose.
Because, I just lost any enthusiasm after it got broken. I'll get him out in a second. I'll show you. Because he's only behind me. He's still sitting on my paint.
Your cat's destroying things. Just wait until it's your child that's destroying things. Because Michael is so cute, but he's got like he misses words out of all his sentences. So like he either I don't really know. I didn't get to the bottom of it. He either stood on top of the Diablo 4 PlayStation. He ejected it from the console, and he either stood on it or he threw it. Because I went to play Diablo 4 like 2 weekends ago and put it in the console, and the console spits out like, "Hey, insert game disc." I was like, "That's strange. The game disc is in," and I eject the game disc, and the game disc's literally hanging in half. And I was like, too broke Diablo 4. I've only been out the room for like an hour. Why is my PlayStation disc ejected from the console and broken? And I went over to like Michael and went, "Michael, what happened?" He goes, "I threw it, Dad." And I was like, "Michael," why? He's just like, "I saw you, Dad." I'm like, how can you be angry at that? But at the same time, you're just sort of sat there with like
a broken copy of Diablo 4 for 70 quid disc, Yeah,
and in my head, I'm just like, I can't be angry at him, but like you're exasperated is the word that I was looking for. Like I'm just sat there, like just beyond exasperated. Like, great, like I had 2 hours where my wife was out with other child. I was gonna get 2 hours to myself. I was gonna play some Diablo. Now I'm just gonna sit here and be sad for the next 2 hours. Just gonna do anything. My wife came back like an hour later. And she's like, "Have you had a nice time?" And I was like, "I've just been sat here." She's like, "Didn't do anything else?" I was like, "Nope." I'm just sat here exasperated, I guess. At like stuff getting breaking. But yeah. So you've got the cat doing it right now. You're gonna have a kid doing it soon as well. You got to be so careful, man.
My Thunderhawk is getting broken. I know I'm waiting for it to happen.
I was going to say, you need to put a lock on the outside of your door, nice and high, so you can like snib the door when you're out.
You joke, but I've literally been looking at putting a bolt on the door for my study.
Okay, on the outside, right?
Yeah. Just so I can lock it for when he's not quite big enough to really reach the door handle.
Yeah.
At the moment, if I shut the door, he can't get in, but he's not got much longer before he can.
Okay, yeah.
I work long hours, so there's a good chance when I'm not here, he's going to break into my study and start. And then like my Thunderhawk lives in a display cabinet in the dining room, so that's not even in here.
Oh, that's going to have to migrate.
Ridiculous model that is.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sort. I was actually managing to keep how upset I was with like it's only a £70 video game. It's not the end of the world. But I was like just thinking at the time. I was like, right, what else do I need to start hiding that the kids cannot break? Because yeah.
So Valdor.
Yes.
So here's Valdor. If it will come up in the camera. So I've started work on it.
Bring him down a little bit.
Down a bit. See it?
Yeah, here. Yes.
So I've done it. I was doing a fairly good job of him, but he had this like rod thing in his hand. It's not that easy to see on the camera. I'll bring it into focus. Come on, focus in for me. Do you want to focus for me? Nope, he doesn't. Camera says no. There's a little rod thing here that I've just sort of replaced because it got completely smashed. Some sort of scroll. And now it looks like he's holding what is effectively a dildo.
I was going to say it looks like a stun baton, but okay, you could go that way as well.
And it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a scroll in a tube, but after I'd bit of green stuff on the end of a brass rod to try to replace it, I painted it black, and then it's a big black wang.
So as long as you say it about your own model, I guess it's okay, right?
And then the other bit that got snapped off is the spear. And you can sort of see there's a little join in there which I had to do. So I had to very carefully drill it out and drill it down, and then put a really thin brass rod to try and reinforce that joint.
Yeah. Sorry, was that model resin or metal?
It's resin.
Yeah, those resin models are a disaster, man. I hate them.
Yeah. It's a beautiful model. It's got some phenomenal detail, but it's so fragile.
Yep.
And I just after mend it all and that, I was really pleased with how it was going. I was really chuffed with the gold tones and that I got on there, and then after it got broken, I just lost all heart.
Yeah, that can be tough, man.
Because I've still got Sanguinius sitting in his box up here that I haven't started.
Oh, really? You didn't start him yet?
No, I was going to paint him when I finish Valdor.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because I wanted to practice some of the techniques that I was going to do on Sanguinius on Valdor.
No, that makes sense.
But because I've never really finished Valdor, it just hasn't gone anywhere. And I've got so little time because I really wanted to enter Golden Demon this year, but that's obviously not happened.
I was going to say, you need a lot of time for that. I think, speaking of time, we've got about 10 more minutes, I think, on this stream.
Yeah.
Coming up to 11:15, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a bit late then. Tis a work night, as it were.
Yes.
Let's just check the chat again, because I haven't seen that for a while. Core XY is the future. Yeah, I'd love a Core XY printer. I haven't got one. We've just ordered a Bamboo X1 Carbon at work. We've got a company to sponsor us and buy us one, which is quite exciting. That's a big Core XY printer, and that'd be really nice. He says he used it to print a full table of terrain in 26 hours.
Wow.
And that is good, isn't it? That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I'll get one myself. What do you think of NHL hockey? I love NHL hockey. Ice hockey is a great sport, but I only ever watch it for the Winter Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
I always want to go because I can ice skate quite well, relatively okay. And years of playing rugby mean I'm a big guy. So the idea of just skating into people.
You think it'd be quite fun? Yeah.
I think I could probably cope with that.
Cool.
So yeah, I've always fancied having a go at it.
We don't really get NHL hockey on like regular television over here.
We don't get it at all, do we? I haven't got Sky Sports or anything like that either.
No.
I've just got Netflix and Amazon.
So
but only because I've been watching The Mandalorian.
Oh, you watched any more of that? How are you liking it?
I've finished season 2.
Oh, cool.
And I've just finished Boba Fett.
Okay, just in time apparently, because there's a new Star Wars show on there as of like yesterday or today.
Yeah, The Acolyte, but I've heard mixed things about that.
I haven't watched it with my wife yet. We're going to maybe try it tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm going to watch Mando season 3 if I get a chance. We'll start watching that because I'm looking forward to that because that is amazing. I love it.
It's really sad that the actor that plays Grief Karga. He was in Predator. What's his name?
Oh yeah. Oh crap! I do know his name, and I've now suddenly forgotten it. Oh, that's going to annoy the hell out of me. That I do know you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that gives them the pucks. He's dead now. He died just
Did he?
after. He died after season 3. He was in Apollo Creed as well. Someone in the chat's going to know.
I didn't know he died.
Oh, what the hell is his name? Oh,
that's going to annoy me. That I should really know.
no, I know his name. The second someone tells me, I'm gonna. He played Apollo Creed in the Rocky movie.
He did, and yeah,
He played Dylan in Predator. His name is
famous bro handshake.
Carl Weathers. There you go.
Carl
Look
Weathers,
at that.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Serenade. Yeah, he died I think after. So I think season 3 had filmed.
Yeah.
So he's in season 3 of Mando a bit, but I can't remember. I think it was like natural causes. I don't remember.
Think he was that old.
I mean,
Not like proper. You know what I mean? He was in the
like,
80s action. He's an 80s action movie hero, so he's going to be pretty old. But I thought he was only sort of like 60s.
I think he was maybe pushing early 70s. But yeah, it was sad because I really liked Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I did as well.
He would have been 76. He was actually at he was at Star Wars Celebration. Like I haven't been to a Star Wars Celebration, but occasionally when Star Wars Celebration is on like YouTube, like when they do those conference, like I'll occasionally watch like a couple of panels, and he was on the Mandalorian panel like just maybe last year, honestly, like it wasn't that long ago. He was very thankful. He was very 76. He was very thankful for being like given a role like that, I guess, because. Yeah. I guess when you're 76 as an actor, you probably can't always choose the best roles anymore, right? Like,
yeah, perhaps, yeah.
So I think he was very happy to be in The Mandalorian. I thought he was good in it.
Yeah, I did too. I think he played the part really well.
So,
yeah, that is sad. That
I think there might be an episode in season 3 dedicated to him as well. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
So.
A few people I think are suggesting what I should do with that rod that Valdor's carrying. Philip Parry says I should paint it purple. No,
yeah, yeah, you could.
It's like my Valdor's holding a foot-long floppy. JT, man, thank you for doing the stream. Makes me smile and listen back while doing my own hobby. Cheers, JT. That's sort of why we do it.
Yeah, exactly why we do it.
It's really an excuse for us to jabber on while we get things painted.
Yes, exactly.
I
mean, we don't need an excuse to jabber on, but it helps, right?
Seriator, there's nothing mixed about it. Oh, is that the response to the Acolyte? So
yeah, I think so. So is Acolyte good then?
It's really good. I saw critics think it's good, but audience is saying it's not very good. So
why are audiences... Don't spoiler it because we've not seen it, but why are people saying it's not good? Like, is it a character or is it... See, because Have you watched Andor yet, Tony?
No, I'm excited to watch it. When I finish Mando, I'm going to watch Andor, and that's entirely because I like Rogue One as a movie, and I've been playing as Andor with the unlimited cards.
Do you know what? Rogue One is the best movie that Disney have put out for Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no, I really liked Andor. Like, I think I preferred it to the Obi-Wan show. I think I preferred it. I might have even preferred it to some of the Mandalorian show as well, honestly. But
really?
Maybe I just really liked Rogue One. I liked how grim it was, and I remember when I was watching Rogue One. When the Death Star shoots the planet at the end of the movie and it's like Jin and Andor left.
Yeah.
I guess spoiler if you haven't seen Rogue One. I mean, it only came out like a decade ago, right? I was actually really happy that they didn't kiss because I was like, oh, please don't make them kiss because it's like this has been like an epic war movie. I don't need it.
There's too much, and this makes me sound like such a prude.
Go for it.
There's too much sex in TV and movies these days.
Well, I thought it would have like weakened the whole thing.
I
I
do
was like,
too.
I just wanted them to be like, we got those Death Star plans, we beamed them to the ship.
Yeah.
This movie was perfect.
Just leave it there.
All those people died in that corridor with Darth Vader. You know, like I was just like, all I need these guys to do now is to like, they have made their sacrifice for the rebellion.
Yeah.
They don't need to kiss, and because they didn't, I was just like, I kind of thought that they were leaning towards it, you know, because they had like this embraced hug, and I was like, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it.
Because for me, that sort of thing gets in the way. Like, I really wanted to like Jessica Jones on Netflix, and there was that just too much sexy time got in the way of people getting punched in the face.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
It just ruined it for me.
Well, you like the Punisher because there was a lot of punching in the face in Punisher.
No, I did like the Punisher because there's a lot of people getting punched in the face, and that's what I was watching. Superhero. When I watch a superhero thing, what I'm really interested in is people getting punched in the face and one-liners.
Yeah, I'll be back.
That's what I want. You know? And like when I'm watching a movie, I'm really not interested in the romantic subplot.
Yeah.
Or a TV show. You know? I don't want that. If I want to watch that, I'll watch a romance. I'm not watching. It's the same with Star Wars and things like that. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, okay. There is the slightly weird bit of Luke kissing his sister.
Yes. But we all get a laugh at that now, don't we?
We all get a laugh out of that now. And there was the whole slightly creepy Han Solo, Princess Leia thing in Empire that did come across as a little bit creepy. Now, if you watch it with modern sensibilities, you're like, come on, man, she said no, stop this now. It's getting a little bit much. Stop pinning her up against walls, you know. Call HR. Because this is now at the point of sexual harassment.
I mean, that's what all the James Bond movies used to be back in the day, though, right?
I know, because he was basically a predator.
Yeah.
He really was. But
different
the point
time,
is, it really wasn't that big a plot point.
No.
And in a lot of TV and stuff now, the character's kind of love life is such a major plot point that I'm really not interested. I just want, you know, X-Wings, lightsabers, blasters, occasional slightly cheeky one-liners. And that's it, really.
All right, well, we're going to have to wrap here in the next minute or two because I literally dropped that model 2 times because I'm falling asleep. So,
oh dear. All right, let's quickly check the chat then. Starties apparently just wasn't great, watchable but not great. That's why I got audience poor reviews, I suppose. And Donuts, sometimes the romantic stuff just fits a bit awkwardly in there. Absolutely, I feel like they shoehorn it in sometimes. They feel like they need it. Zach Andor puts Grimdark back in the universe. Yeah,
it does actually.
Mark told me I'm going to love it, and I generally trust what Mark says.
You are going to.
And it's not about being a prude, just sometimes it's a bit awkward. Apparently, Bad Boys 4 is great for all the reasons we just listed.
Oh, I want to see that actually. I love the Bad Boys movies.
I love the first 2. I don't remember the third one.
The third one was the weakest, I think, but there was like a 10-year break there, so maybe now that there's not been such a humongous break, this one might be better.
Yeah, maybe. Babylon 5, no over the top sex stuff. Exactly, and I like Babylon 5. And then Ryan Nelson, you like the new Reacher show. I did like the new Reacher show. That was exactly what I want. Lots of people getting punched. Some
Amazon Prime?
Sorry?
Was that Amazon Prime, that new Reacher show?
It was. I did like it. It was it was good. And the guy playing Jack Reacher is an absolute unit. You know,
yes,
scary,
isn't he?
Big guy, you know.
Cool. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, guys. Thank you for the gifted memberships, the new memberships. These are always super appreciated. Please like the stream, and we'll be back on a future Thursday. I don't think we've got a set plan. We didn't really. We said in passing Mark was away on holiday tonight, so that's why we just decided to do live.
Yep.
But we'll be back when Mark's back, and we'll figure this out. What's coming?
Well, we're going to do our remake of the original first ever Grots episode, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And how to write a good army list. So if anybody's got any clever things they want us to put in there, make sure you stick it on the Discord because we'll use it.
That's what's
it's rubbish, then we're going to ignore it. But yeah, so we've got that coming up.
All right. We will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.
Cheers all.
Good night.
Bye bye.